Hey, Brandy.
All right.
Brandy,
I'm sorry, Chris.
I just have a quick comment. Thanks to your updates and listening to you, I feel like I have a little better feel for the market nowadays. When people ask me, how's the market doing? I feel like I can actually say something back to them and understand it a little bit better. So I know what I'm talking about. I don't know as
Excellent.
good as you do, but I'm thankful for your your Monday meeting.
Well, I'm so happy. Thank you for that, Chris. And that's what it's here for. So definitely that's what we use it for, is that we can, just like what you said, right? Is just be able to speak to the market a little bit better and answer questions from people who are inquiring about real estate. And so I'm happy that it's helping. Um,
Definitely agree.
Thank you guys. So happy that it is helping. It helps me. I mean, like I said, it helps me as well. So to know and to be able to answer questions and just feel more confident when you're talking to people, right? You feel more confident, like you're not more than they do, because this is your profession. All right, so let's get started. You guys all know, please be TCPA compliant. Do not call people that are on the do not call list, because they can end up getting us in trouble, getting you in trouble, and making and you could be fined for calling people on the do not call list. As you can see, it's $500 to $1,500. So do not mess with those individuals. And if you're getting your information from any of the reputable lists, it will have the DNC number on there. Okay. Or a couple of numbers. A lot of times when I'm cold calling, there could be two numbers DNC and one that's not. So you just call the one that's not, right? All right. All right. So let's hop in to our LA County update. Let's see here. So last week or last month, and you guys know, remember, this is comparing current to previous year's month to date being June 1st through June 7th, as compared to last month, um, May 1st through May 7th. Okay, so for sale properties went up 8.1%, versus last month, as compared to last month, and up 35.3% as compared to last year. Okay, and so we are seeing a big surge in inventory, right? We've been seeing that for the last, I mean, literally 7 months, right? We've been seeing our inventory continue to rise, which is definitely a good sign, because we have a lot of sellers who have been waiting to sell. So in LA County, it's up 35.3%. Sold properties are down 14.1% compared to last month, and down 1.1% overall. Okay. So we really are keeping an eye out on this, because we expect that the summer will rebound a little bit in terms of sales. However, we are seeing it's very slow, as compared to last year, even a little bit slower, because of the uncertainty in the market, right? But we're hoping that springtime has passed just about, and we're in summer now, right? So summer's here, and we expect that we will see this number go up and rebound a bit. Penders are down 14.1% over last month, and down only 0.4% over last year. Okay, so properties that are actually in escrow. Okay. And then new listing inventory is down 12.4%, as compared to last month. Again, just think about it. It's just the first 7 days of the month. And then up 16.1% overall. So we still are doing good in terms of new listing inventory coming on the market. Okay. Average active price has gone down 2.6% over last month. And then average active price overall has gone down 9.6%. So sellers are asking in LA County on average 9.6% less than they did last year. However, they're receiving 6.7% higher than they did last year. So it is in that normal range of appreciation. 6.7% is nothing to laugh at. Sellers are happy when they're seeing this level of appreciation, especially when we're seeing more inventory come on the market. So there's more pressure on pricing. But in LA County, on average, the sellers are receiving 6.7% higher than they did last year. Months of inventory is up 27.7% over last month. So last month we were at 3.3 months of inventory. Currently in LA County, we're at 4.2 months of inventory, which means we are at that starting point of a normal market overall in the county. And you guys know LA County is huge, right? So with that in mind, because LA County is so huge, you've got to be hyper local and look at what these numbers are in your specific area. And looking at 37.8% higher than it was last year. So last year we were at 2.9 months of inventory. So a severe seller's market, right? Which is what we've been in literally for almost a decade. Okay. And now we're at 4 months of inventory currently at this point in the year. Okay. As compared to last year. So we are doing well in terms of overall LA County moving into that normal market, which means listings are going to sit a little bit longer. We're going to have less competition. There's a lot of implications moving into that normal market, and all of us should be aware of those and be able to explain those to our sellers, because sellers are still thinking, hey, I should get multiple offers. My property should sell for 50,000 more than what we're asking. They still have these really lofty ideas about the market that we're in, and we've got to be the ones to share with them the current market conditions, where we are, what the predictions are, and what the trends look like, because we have the data. Just what Chris was saying, we have the data. So we have to be able to share that with them, but we've got to bring it hyper local to them so that they understand what their specific neighborhood, how their specific neighborhood is performing. Okay. Average days on market has gone up 9.7% over last month. Last month, at the first 8 days of the month, we were at 31 days on market. We're currently at 34 days on market. And it's gone up 15.6% overall. Last year, we were at 32 days on market. Currently, we're at 37 days on market. Okay, a little bit higher. And then sold versus original list price, we're down 1% over last month. Last month, we're at 98% of list price. Currently, we're at 97% of list price. Overall, no change. Last year, we were at 98% of list price, currently 98% of list price. So what does that mean? Sellers are receiving 98% of what they list their property for. Okay. So in some areas, you guys, that's going to be 101%. In some areas, it's going to be 95%. It just really depends. That's why these numbers, again, although they're good for conversation, they're good for you knowing what in general is happening in the market. Be specific when you're talking to a seller or a buyer, because this number alone can help you determine what kind of offer your buyer should be making, right? If you're looking at it from a hyper local perspective. If sellers are receiving 100% of their list price and you're going in at 95%, you can probably set the expectation with your buyer, depending on, the conversation with the listing agent and all that good stuff. But you can probably set the expectation with your buyer that this is going to be lower than what the seller is going to accept, right? Because the seller is in this particular neighborhood is receiving 100% of their list price, granted that they price the property competitively, right? So just keep that in mind. That's why we're sharing these numbers, because these numbers impact how you show the property, when you show the property, what your offer should look like on the selling side, what they should be selling their property for, etc. Okay. All right. So let's go to Orange County, the OC. Orange County for sale properties is up 7.2% over last month and up 50.2% over last year. And you guys will see when we get into absorption rate why this is so important, because Orange County had no inventory basically, right? So now being up 50.2%, yes, that number looks fabulous, but we are still in a scarce market, okay? Still they need inventory because we're still in a seller's market in the OC, okay? All right, sold properties are down 17.2% over last month and down 4.1% over last year as compared to last year. So again, we're still seeing sales are lagging, as compared to last year. And we're hoping that this summer will really increase that and make up some ground for us. Pendings are down 15.6% as compared to last month and down 3.1% as compared to last year. New listing inventory is down 35.5% as compared to last month. However, it's still holding strong, continuing to rise at 12%. increase over last year. So that's good. We've got new listing, new developments coming on the market, as compared to last year to the tune of 12% more inventory. Okay. Average active price has gone up 0.9% over last month, and then 10.7% lower than it was last year. Okay. So sellers in Orange County are asking 10.7% lower than they did last year. Okay. On average. However, as you can see, they're receiving 5.4% higher than they did last year. Okay. So that's a good sign. Again, it's not astronomical, right? Just like in LA County, it was only like 7.5%. It wasn't astronomical. It's not double digits. Here, it's even more reasonable at 5.4% appreciation over last year. Okay. So sellers, again, they're happy. They are receiving some appreciation. Buyers, we can flip that because buyers are also not buying at double digit appreciation over last year. So it's like, don't miss out, right? Get in now while appreciation is still going at a slower pace to the tune of 5.4% over last year. If you wait, you could be buying 8% higher than you did over the last 2 years versus buying now and riding the appreciation wave, right? Hope that made sense. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
We just need to get the sellers to get off the pot and get a home purchase for them.
No doubt,
The longer
right?
they wait,
Yeah,
the more, I mean, they can be gaining equity. The longer they wait, the worse it's gonna be for them, but.
absolutely. Absolutely. There we go. Yeah, okay, there we go. Yep, the longer they wait. And the reality is that right now they're saying, um that we are still going to see a modest appreciation over the next few years. And when they say modest, it's like 2%. And we're going to see if that's going to hold up, right? Or if we're going to be going into a buyer's market because we're shifting into that normal market. Shifting into that normal market, the other side of that normal market is a buyer's market, right? And so that's typically the way the pendulum swings. It's seller's market, normal market, buyer's market, right? That's the pendulum. If we hold tight in that normal market for quite some time, depending on inventory and all the other things, they're saying that we could swing back to a seller's market and not necessarily go into that buyer's market. So there's a lot of factors that are going to be, that's why we do this, so that we can watch the numbers and know exactly, what it's going to look like. That's why we listen to Lawrence Yun with the National Association of Realtors. He's the chief economist. So that we can hear the thought process and what's going into the predictions, right? Because that's what they are. They're predictions, and sometimes they're off. And sometimes they're dead on. So we really got to pay attention, you guys, to the market. We really do. That's our job, right? In addition to serving our clients and all that, it's our job to know those contracts, and it's our job to know this market. Okay. Months of inventory has gone up 35.9% as compared to last month. So last month we were at 22.5 months of inventory. Currently we're at 3.4 months of inventory. And then overall a 60% increase over last year. Look at that. Last year, you guys, 1.8 months of inventory. That means if there were no other properties came on the market, it would only take us 1.8 months to sell every piece of property on the market. 1.8 months, right? We currently are at 2.9 months of inventory currently. I mean, that's still low. That's still very low, which is why if you're selling, if you got a buyer in Orange County, you're probably still facing competition, multiple offers, things like that, depending on the neighborhood, right? Because you still are still in a very you're still in a seller's market. At 2.9 months of inventory, you're still in the seller's market. Okay. Average days on market has gone up 12.5% as compared to last month. We were at 24 days on market last month. We're at 27 days on market. And then overall, as compared to last year, it has increased 29.2%. So last year we were at 24 days on market, currently 31 days on market. So even though it, has gone up in terms of or even though we're in a seller's market and it has gone up like 1 month of inventory, right? Yes, you still going to see the numbers change because more inventory still brings about longer days on market typically. Okay. Even when you're in a seller's market, it still brings about longer days on market. But does that mean that you can hold out and you've got time to let your buyers sit and think, or they can not go see it this weekend? No, you do not have that kind of luxury. Your buyers have to get out there and still have a sense of urgency, right? Because their property could get swooped up because they're being too lax. Okay, so you still got to have that sense of urgency with your buyers. Sold versus original list price has gone down 2%. We were at 98% of list price last month. We're at 96% of list price currently, and then a 2% decrease overall. So last year, sellers were receiving 99% of list price, and now they're receiving 97% of list price. Remember, this is county-wide, right? So they're still receiving a high percentage of their list price. And again, we have the most influence over this number with our sellers. If they will listen to reason, if they'll listen to logic, right? If they're not making this emotional decision on how much they want for their property, then we can help them and guide them in this decision, and we can ensure that they get 100% of their list price, okay, by listening. All right, let's go to Riverside County. Riverside County for sale properties is up 1.5% as compared to last month, and then up 37.3% over last year. So definitely we're seeing some good amounts of inventory coming on the market in Riverside County. Sold properties are down 14.9% as compared to last month, and down 3.2% over last year. Okay. So again, in all our counties, we're seeing that the sold are lagging, right? We just don't have as many sales, closed units as we did last year. Okay. Pendants are down 5% compared to last year. I'm sorry, last month. And then 0.7% improvement increase over last year. Okay. So more properties going into escrow as compared to last year. New listing inventory is down 28.2% as compared to last month, and up 8.8% over last year. So that's good. Again, we've got some new listings that have come on the market that were not available last year. Now they are. So that's good. 8.8%. Average active price is down 5.3% as compared to last month. And I'm sorry. Yeah. And then 4.2% less than last year. Average active price has decreased 4.2% over last year. Average sold price has gone up 8.8% as compared to last month, and up 1.8% over last year. So again, sellers in Riverside County are seeing a modest amount of appreciation, 1.8% over last year. Okay. Now I know from just personal experience, Riverside and San Bernardino County have just seen a lot of people moving that way, from LA County, from Orange County, because you can get a little bit more for your money out there. And because a lot of companies have chosen to allow some of their folks to stay home a couple of days a week. So it's not like the commute is as rigorous as it used to be. So we got a lot of movement around, right? And so you see a little bit less appreciation in Riverside County. I don't think you're going to see that in San Bernardino County. But I think these numbers are going to, change a little bit as we keep seeing that exodus out in those areas. Months of inventory, we see 22.3% increase over last month. Last month, we were at 3.6 months of inventory. Currently, we're at 4.4 months of inventory. So you see this month, these first 8 days of the month, really, or 7 days of the month, really, we're in a normal market out here in Riverside County. Is improved or increased 43.8% over last year. Where last year we're at 2.7 months of inventory, currently at 3.9 months of inventory. So again, right there at that, at that opening to that normal market. Okay. Overall. All right. Average days on market no change. We were at 50 days on market last month. We're at 50 days on market currently. At 18.6% increase overall. So last month we were at 43 days on market, currently at 51 days on market. Sold versus original list price has gone down 1%. We were at 97% of list price. Currently we're at 96% of list price this month. And then a 1% decrease overall. So yes, as compared to last year, we were at 97% of list price last year. This year, we're at 96% of list price. Okay. A lot of clients are still, again, going for the higher amounts, but with the more inventory, they're having to reduce their prices potentially, right? Because buyers have a few more choices. And with the interest rates, you just don't have as many buyers in the market. Okay. With the interest rates being in the 6s and 7s, you just don't have as many buyers who are ready to jump in because they're still thinking that there's a possibility that we can actually go down, right? Interest rates could go down. All right. Let's go into San Bernardino County, our last county of the day. All right, for sale properties is up 9% over last month and up 35.8% as compared to last year, you guys. So that's huge. Again, big gains in terms of for sale, more inventory on the market versus last year, 35.8%. So a lot more inventory has come on the market than last year. Sold properties is down 11.8% as compared to last month and down 3.8% as compared to last year. So San Bernardino County is keeping with all the others trending right downward as compared to last year. Pendants are down 17.3% as compared to last month and 1.1% as compared to last year, down 1.1% as compared to last year. So although Riverside County had improved, and I think OC and LA County had improved on the pendants, San Bernardino County has a slight dip in pendants, right? New listing inventory is down 14.2% as compared to last month. However, up 11.8% as compared to last year. So again, we have new inventory that wasn't available last year is available now to the tune of 11.8% improvement. Average active price has gone up 0.3% as compared over last month, and 2.4% decrease as compared to last year. Okay, so average active price has gone down 2.4% as compared to last year. However, the sold price has gone up 4.1% on average over last month and 5.3% improvement over last year. So sellers are receiving 5.3% higher than they did last year. Again, really good sign for sellers getting a modest amount of appreciation, but definitely still receiving appreciation, is not going the other direction. All right. And we are looking at months of inventory has gone up 27.4% over last month. Last month, we were at 4.4 months of inventory, currently 5.6 months of inventory. So San Bernardino County, unlike all the other counties, are definitely showing us that normal market, giving us normal market vibes. Okay. It is definitely in that range. Here, our overall market is in that range, right? We're at 4.8 months of inventory as compared to last year. We were at 3.4 months of inventory, an improvement of 40.8%. So right here, 4.8 months of inventory, we are definitely in the sweet spot of a normal market. And should start really seeing properties that are, again, what does that mean being in a normal market? It means for every home you have a buyer, right? There's not one home, multiple buyer situation, right? It means that homes are going to sit on the market just a little bit longer, right? Because it's not like they're going to be flying off the shelves anymore, right? That's not what happens in a normal market, okay? Normally, and you'll have to look at this and be hyper local, but for homes stay on the market, right, 20 to 30 days, right? So you've got to look at that and what happens in a normal market. Okay, you get more marketing time. You actually get to showcase the property. You're going to hold a couple of open houses, right? Those are things that happen in a normal market versus you hold one open house, you get 10 offers, and then you're in escrow. right? This is going to be different. All right, average days on market is down 6.1% over last month. We have 49 days on market. Last month, we have 46 right now. 23.1% increase over last year. Last year, we were at 39 days on market, currently at 48 days on market. And a 1% increase on sold versus original list price. So last month we were at 97% of list price. Currently we're at 98% of list price. And then overall, no change. We're at 98% of list price. Okay. Sellers are receiving 98% of their list price this year and last year. So sellers are happy because they are, again, very much so right there at 100% of their list price. And we can help them to achieve that, right? To achieve that 100%. Any questions, you guys, about those numbers, about what we just went over? All right, let's talk about what we have on tap this month, not this month, but this week in terms of training. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I do have something. So I have a client that's kind of on the fence because what he can afford in a condo and what HOAs are a little bit difficult for him in his price range. So what I'm hearing you say is, he should consider doing something now versus waiting a year or two, saving more money or whatever he may do because of what inflation's going to do to the housing market. So somehow I need to explain it to him the way you'd be better off to buy now versus waiting a year or two. Is that correct? Is that what I hear you saying?
Well, I mean, in general, yes. I mean, when you talk about waiting a year or two, just think about it. He's gonna be losing out on appreciation, right? And then just add up how much money is he spending in rent, right? So how much money is he spending in rent that's not going anywhere? That's money thrown away versus money that could be paying down principal and building equity into his home. So just in general, when you say, that, yeah, I mean, to me, yes, you advise them to buy now because when interest rates go down, if they are to go down, if he buys now at 6.75 or 7%, right? When interest rates go down, what's going to end up happening is he can refinance. But what on the flip side of things, is what's going to happen is everybody's going to jump into the market and that house price is going to go down up. And if he's having a challenge buying now, if house prices end up going up because interest rates dip, he's going to be priced out of the market.
Got it.
And that's real because that has happened and will happen again. We don't know that the interest rates are going to go down. We don't know that. But the reality is your best way to stave off inflation is your home because it's fixed 30 years, right? So you don't have people increasing your rent every single year. You don't have that. You have 30-year fixed and it should be across the board. So, let's see. So we have our Monday market update. You guys are already in that. We have group coaching today with Diana. We have a tech workshop this evening with Eileen, who is amazing teacher. Tomorrow we do have Ed Bonilla, who's going to be here doing our Q&A. So you know what, you guys, Ed, this is a great opportunity for us to have Ed one-on-one. It's just us. It's just Downey and Ed. It's a great opportunity for you to ask a bunch of questions. Even if they sound like silly questions to you, it's great for you to, ask them. Ed is right here for us. We also have Pavin's class tomorrow. He's going to be talking about, we actually added a class because he did basically like an Excel workshop last week to teach us how to do the analysis spreadsheet. And so this week is going to be him talking more about that and going over actually, I guess, putting it into practice. And then we still have another week. Okay. So this is going to be 6 classes instead of 5. All right. And then we also have our tech workshop with Martha. That's on Wednesday at 1:00. We also have on Thursday, We have Stay Out of Trouble and Learn Your Title Docs Thursday, Suite 404 at 4 p.m. That's with Jorge and Anthony. This week on Friday, we are going to be going over the Miracle Morning for real estate. How your time, it's your time to rise and shine with Hal Elrod. This is a great book, you guys. I've read it a couple of times, but we're going to be talking about how to start your morning off for success. All right, how to start your morning off for success. You must purchase the book. We have the QR code all around here. I think I even have it right here. So we're going to be talking about the 6 powerful habits to transform your mornings. And here is the QR code for the book. Purchase the book on Amazon and read it. It took me a day to read it, you guys. It's an easy read. Take a couple of evenings. Don't veg out on Netflix. Read the book. All right. We have broker hour Wednesday and Thursday at 10. You guys know that. That's our staple. All right. Ed is going to be talking about, he's going to be talking about the contracts, the disclosures. That's what he does. We also have a special lunch and learn. This was brought to us by Gloria, our Old Republic warranty representative. You guys know Gloria. She's amazing. Love me some Gloria. And she likes him. I've never heard of this gentleman, but he is a doctor, Ariaza. And he's going to be talking about the 4 pillars of momentum. Clarify your major purpose, create a blueprint for success, program your mind for victory, and the philosophy of fulfillment. And so it's a lunch and learn Friday, June 27th. I just wanted to kind of put this on your radar. All right. But I kind of have this out of sequence. My apologies. Dollar for Dollars is this Thursday at 2. If you are in Victor's class, he is not playing with you guys. He already said, if you don't do your homework, don't show up. You don't want to embarrass nobody. So please do your homework. And honestly, it's for you to be successful. It's not like he's asking you to do something that's not going to benefit you. Everything he's asking you to do is so that you get business. So it's a no-brainer. All right. And then on June 18th, this is next week, we have Disc to Dollars. So you guys must RSVP and you must do your disc. Please be on the lookout. We're going to be sending the disc out every day this week. There'll be a link to the disc, how to, to actually take the disc personality assessment. You've got to bring that with you when you come to the class on the 18th. And that is also going to be a lunch and learn. And of course, we have our Downey weight loss challenge. For those of you who are participating. So just wanted to remind you, stay encouraged. Content Day with the DAOR is every 3rd Thursday of the month. So just keep that on your radar. That's where you can go around and video all the different opens that the agents are allowing you to video their homes. And there's a list. You'll know what the list is. You can actually put your active listing on the list if you like. Okay, and you just contact the DAOR for that information. And then one of the great announcements that KW made was that we have now partnered with Canva. So available, it should be Q3, which is in a few months, I guess. No. Yeah. We are actually in Q3, June, July, August. Yeah, we're in Q3 now. So this actually, Mega Camp is in August. And so I believe it's going to be more July, August, where this is really going to be rolled out. But the reality is that you will be able to use Canva. And they're going to have a bunch of templates in there that are fresher, that are more modern. And that's really cool. So we got this whole partnership with Canva, and it's going to be more plug and play. I don't know about you, but I love me some Canva. It's easy to use, not a bunch of hoopla. So I love that. And then Ignite, just wanted to keep this on your radar. If you guys are newer agents and you want to keep going with Ignite, this is a great class to take. And it's online. It's 6:30 on Tuesdays, I believe. Scan the QR code and get signed up. Our team meeting next week on June 17th, you guys, we are going to have the one and only Sophia Chacon. She will be speaking to us. She's our guest speaker. Sophia is crushing it, you guys. She's crushing it this year, and she's going to be talking with us about money making ideas. And who better to hear from somebody who's extremely busy, and she still operates her own business. And she operates a market center. She's doing multiple businesses. And she's still crushing it in her own business. So, you guys, this is a great person for us to listen to. And then I did want to just, I'm sorry, this image is so jacked up. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent podcast turned single family homes into multi-million-dollar developments. He is talking about that. This is Hudson. And so this is a guy to listen to if you're interested in development. It's kind of cool because it kind of goes along with if you're in Pavin's class, right? So definitely this is a great one to listen to. Let's talk about some industry news real quick. The NAR in DC. So the National Association of Realtors is really focused on affordability, you guys. That's what they're really focused on, affordability and lack of inventory. So inventory improvement. So those are the two highest items of concern for the National Association of Realtors. So they are looking at how to make policy changes that will impact builders' ability to build more, to make it more affordable for them to build, for us to use commercial buildings and turn those into condos and townhomes and things like that if they're underused. And then also expanding fair housing protections for the LGBTQ community. That's another priority of theirs. They're looking at how to incentivize sellers to sell. One of the things that they're looking at is changing the capital gains minimums. So right now, for a single person, if they were to sell, they get the capital gains protection up to $250,000. They want to raise that to $500,000 per person, and then for a couple, $1 million. Okay, so $500,000 per person, so that sellers they have more equity, they'll be more protected, and they'll want to sell, because of that. Potentially doing something with interest rates. So just a lot of different things that they're working on right now. And we need it. I mean, we need it. We need more policies around affordability. We need more incentivizing our sellers to sell because they're sitting on their properties. We don't have enough inventory, even in this climate where we're getting more inventory, right? You can see in most of our counties, we are still not in a normal market, right? We are still in a seller's market. So that is something to keep in mind. All right, the magic bullet that could boost home sales. So this is what Lawrence Yun, you guys, I mentioned him earlier. He's our National Association of Realtors chief economist. And basically what he was saying is that the one thing that's holding everything back are interest rates. He said that's our biggest roadblock. It's not inventory. It's not anything. It is interest rates. The fact that the interest rates continue to hover around 6.5%, 7% is what's hurting the market. And he said that's our magic bullet. That's the way he put it. That people are waiting to see that it comes down. And when it comes down, it is going to boost home sales. Okay. So one thing that I know that it was all the rage. I hate to say that like that, but it was all the rage when it first went off, when it first happened, and when the first interest rates first went up, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" And we were falling out with buyers and all that kind of stuff. What did? We started to pivot. We started to do the 2-to-1 buy down and the 3-to-1, 3-to-2, 3-to-1 buy down, right? So that's still in play. That never went away. Lenders are still doing the 2-to-1 buy down. Lenders are still doing the 3-2 buy down. So you guys, that's something that we still need to have in our trick bag. Okay. Because it works. There are a lot of lenders right now who are doing down payment assistance programs and can use funds that, will be used for down payment, but can use them for other purposes like paying down the principal. So you guys use your resources. The 2-to-1 buy down is real. If we're waiting for interest rates to come down and we don't know when that will be, let's give our buyers a 2 years, head start or a 2-year cushion that, look, for the next 2 years, you can have a 5% interest rate or even a 4.5% interest rate and then a 5.5% interest rate, and then it'll go into that 6, right? So at any rate, that to me is a big deal. That is a good program. And we should be, if your clients are very interest rate sensitive, which I believe almost all are, that is a conversation you can have with them. All right, open door facing delisting plans. I just thought this was interesting. You guys know Open Door is an iBuyer, iSeller. They try to put the iBuyer and the iSeller and everything is done online and everything. Well, look at this. The iBuyer is asking shareholders to approve its consolidation of shares as it scrambles to lift its stock price above the NASDAQ's $1 threshold. So their stock prices have gone down significantly, and now they're below $1. To be on the NASDAQ, you've got to be at $1 or above. And so they're asking for a specific, it's a technical thing that they do. And so they're asking their stockholders to do this so that they can bring themselves back above. My point is that we see a lot of these new technologies with the iBuyers and iSellers come and they try to take over. No one at this point has figured out how to allow technology to take the place of an agent, right? Because what we do is extremely important. And as long as we, as agents, continue to be that fiduciary for our clients and continue to have that relationship with our clients, we cannot be replaced, right? I don't care how much money you put behind a piece of technology. But the moment that we start being transactional and how we deal with our clients, we are putting ourselves in jeopardy. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that there. The One Thing podcast, definitely be there and listen to Quality Inflation. Are you falling behind without realizing it? Again, this is a good episode to read if you're don't want your business to ebb and flow with the market. Okay. And then the MREA Spanish translation. If you guys need this is a great book. You guys know this is like the real estate Bible. And if English is your second language and you'd rather read it in Spanish, or you have other realtors that would rather read it in Spanish, this will be a great gift. Okay. All right, guys, that is it for today. We are done. Any questions?
No, thank you for all the information.
Of course, Yvette.
Yeah, thank you
you guys
very
for
much.
being here. Appreciate you guys. Let me know if you do have any questions. Otherwise, have an amazing week, and I will see you hopefully at one of the trainings.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Brandy.
much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you, Brandy.
You're welcome, Marjorie. It was good to see you last week, even though I didn't get to talk to you.